We are here, we are live. It is Moon Day. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace, your weekly conversation about the astrology of the week, where the moon is hanging out. It goes from zodiac sign to zodiac sign every 2 to 3 days, and every time it shifts, so does the energy, so do the vibes. So, welcome. If you are brand new, never been here before, I am so excited to get in touch, connect, and get to know each other. This show, podcast, broadcast, this broadcast, I like that word. This forecast as well, or we can call it mooncast. I've called it a mooncast many a time. Um, this broadcast has always been, or my intention, right, has always been for this to be a conversation. So if you're new here, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Graciela Moore. I am an ICF certified personal coach. I'm Puerto Rican, so my first language is Spanish. We can talk Spanish if you like. And I love astrology. It's one of my personal interests, if you will. I stay at home, I coach, I create content, and I take care of my beautiful 5-year-old, almost 5-year-old, who has special needs and is homeschooled and all these things. And I love to talk about this. Now, let me just tell you one of the reasons why I decided to bring my relationship with astrology and my relationship to and with the moon into my content. And it's really about the fact that the sun, we all grow up. I can't say we all, but if you're here, then you probably are one of them. We grow up knowing that we are a Taurus or a Pisces or right a zodiac sign, and that's the sun sign. But there's also all these other things that have to do with the astrology of the time and place of your birth. That's called your birth chart, right? And my focus has been the moon ever since I was a child. And then in my personal studies, I come to understand that the sun sign and the sun in general represents, of course, it's the number one life-giving force, but it's our identity, our image, if you will. And the moon, which corresponds with the water and the depth and the obscure, represents our emotions, right? So where the sun is this face, the moon is more of this face, right? And fast forward 25 years and I become a coach and start having all these amazing conversations with all of you. And I really felt called to share about emotional intelligence, emotional wellness, something I like to call trauma maintenance, which is, how we daily take care of our triggers and ourselves in a very compassionate and nurturing way, which is all the moon. And so here we are. And being a coach too has always been about productivity. It's being a business owner, working full time, motherhood, running businesses, so on and so forth, creating content, and doing all of these things. 20 years in sales and marketing, and I this conversation that really kind of started with how to bring my own, I don't want to say proven method, but my own strategies, right? In a coaching conversation, my clients come up with their own strategies because that's what coaching is about. But what you see in my social media and what we talk about here, this is how I've been handling my agendas and my journaling and a lot of my own special interest journey for a very long time. Um, Moon Day, Monday, as the one day where I planned the rest of my week. That really started, I would say, about 7 to 8 years ago when I became a real estate agent and really felt adamant about not working during the weekend, which is interesting because when you're a real estate agent, when do you want to go see houses if you're a buyer? When do people do open houses during the weekend? And it's not that I didn't want to work weekends. It's just that, I was clearly not in the right industry with what my soul and just what I really wanted to create and to do. So here we are, season 3, episode 9. We are 1 week closer to 2-digit episodes. Episode 10 is next week, and I'm so excited for that. But if you're new here, we're following Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace 2024 Manifestation Agenda / Journal. This is my pride and joy. This is the second edition of this book, and I'm so grateful for everyone that's got it and who has joined us. This is the only journal you need to make and nurture plans and to create fearlessly. And in this journal, you have an opportunity every moon day to journal and work on affirmations and promptings. And then every new moon and every full moon, you have an opportunity to, I was going to say read and then heed, and then just I blanked, but to do the questions and the affirmations and to paint over what you journaled. Now, of course, do I have to paint over what I journaled? No, you don't have to. That's just a personal preference. And if you think about it, maybe you will understand. Painting over my journaling came from trauma. It came from me wanting and needing to conceal my thoughts growing up because it wasn't safe to share them. And so I couldn't burn them and draw attention, right, to what I was doing. And so I think I was about 14 or 15 when I started painting over my journaling. And that's been interesting because I don't paint over all of it. I mean, in this book, I only paint over the moons. So every moon day, I can go back and read on what I wrote. But I did have moments where I felt like I didn't want to paint over something for fear of forgetting it. And so thus began a relationship of trust, if you will, with, I don't even know what then, right then I didn't know what. Now I know it's just myself, spirit, etc. Of knowing that what I wrote will stay with me in however way needed to stay with me, and that the safest way was to paint over it and move on and write, keep writing and keep processing, right? Clearly, I am a verbal, if you will, processor. And it all started as nonverbal in journaling. If you express a lot more on your journal than you do like to the people around you and to your relationships, then you're a nonverbal communicator. And I think that's awesome. So yeah, it always just helps me process, right? It helps me release the stress, and it helps me organize my thoughts. And talking about organizing, let's begin and go back a little bit because we had the full moon in Virgo this weekend. How was that? You let me know. By now, right? It's after 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the moon is in Libra. But we began the day with the moon in Virgo, and all weekend, the full moon. It peaked Saturday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So for some people, that might feel like a little too early or overnight, if you will. The bottom line is that whatever came up for you is all in the hopes of you taking care of that, whatever that means for you, you checking the boxes of what came up. And so many things can be done when it comes to Virgo and organizing and just being productive. I don't know why when Virgo is involved, I hear the word productive a lot. And there's lots of ways that we can be productive, and rest is absolutely productive. And if that's what you're called to do, right, during a Virgo full moon, it Virgo is a mutable sign and it's an earth sign, but it's not Taurus, who is fixed, right? So when Taurus kind of invites you or pulls you into a nap when the moon is in Taurus, the moon in Virgo just tends to be a little bit more organized, because Virgo prompts action and creativity, in the sense, not in the creative, not in the artistic, colorful way, but creativity in the sense of figuring things out. And then once you figure something out, what happens then? Well, then you take a step toward whatever it is, right? I hope that makes sense. Virgo is also ruled by Mercury, the planet that is literally handling all of this that's coming out. And I just hope it makes sense. So let's continue. The full moon was very interesting for me. At the end of the day, I realized that it is time to take action on something that has been bothering me for a year. And it's been put off for so many reasons. I don't really have to try anymore to kind of like not get myself down on things. I've been coaching for 2 years now, and I see my coach every week. So I have all these techniques or strategies, right, to kind of talk myself off the ledge and give myself grace, a lot of grace, because there's a lot going on, right? And so anyway, I realized today that it's been almost a year of having this area of my studio bugging me for a specific reason. And then this weekend, what manifested for me, what materialized when I make this gesture with my hands, I'm thinking of manifestation, because it goes from the ether, down to the earth. What manifested for me this weekend was a realization that definitely something needs to be done, and then I realized exactly what. And I'm grateful that I didn't give myself like, oh, this needs to be done by Monday. This needs to be done like right away. I gave myself the week. And I wrote it down in my book. This week, I will make sure to finish this area, that corner right there. And I will show you all of it on TikTok. So follow along at somecoaching.tt. But the moon in Libra also kind of made me question, is this really what I want to do? And do I think it'll look good? And Libra is all of those back and forth. I think it's also healthy to weigh things and to see both sides or more sides of everything before taking a step. If you struggle with impulsivity, or just you get excited about eagerness, right? I've been called an eager spirit many a times. And so if you struggle with kind of always jumping headfirst and not really doing your research before you jump in, then I think this week is also primed for that. So let's take a look at where the moon is, because after being in Libra, it's going to be in Scorpio. And the thing is, I'm sorry, hang on. I'm just here in my trusty astroseek.com, where you yourself can check out where the moon is and all of the astrology. By Friday, March 1st, it's it's in Scorpio. But by then, all of these transits are going to take place that I think contribute to this. It's a week primed for strategy because Mercury is going to be it's going to be doing very interesting things. By Thursday, it's going to be sextiling with Jupiter. And I've talked before about how all of these transits tend to be beneficial or kind of a little negative, right? Confrontational and oppositional. And a sextile is very positive, and Jupiter expands, and Jupiter is about growth, and Jupiter is about taking that step, taking that leap. Luck, other people also believe that Jupiter is all about luck, and Mercury is all of this processing, all of this sitting and witnessing and feeling and experiencing the shift that a lot of us have been discussing for the past few weeks. And so with Saturn also at play, because Wednesday, um, it's the Sun, um, Mercury, and Saturn doing their dance, and Saturn is the lesson giver. Saturn is the structure. Saturn is the boundary, right? And there is no real growth, if you will, if there's no shift in patterns and changed behavior, right? If there's no acknowledgement that the lesson's been learned, then did you learn the lesson? I feel like that's a Saturn related question, right? And so my hope that is that this week we will finally decide on a lot of things. And with March 1st coming on Friday, we are one day closer to that spring equinox where the sun will be in Aries, and everything that's been processed under the surface season will be ignited into what? What is it that you want to ignite, spark in your life? It it is all conducive to that moment if it's for your highest good and with harm to none and all those things. Of course, if it's not that if it's meant to happen it will happen, is it as it is more of if it's for you it will happen. The question is, when is the right time? And so what you can control is your strategy. What you can control is the things that you do to get you one step closer to that. And so this week, my hope is that we know like what one next step to take at least. Hey, if you come up with a whole plan, then you probably have Saturn in a very special place in your chart, right? Probably sextiling Jupiter or something like that, right? Because Jupiter is that luck and excitement, expansion. And so if you come up with a whole plan for the year, then I definitely want to I want to get in touch and find out about that. I like to take it 1 week at a time. And so that's the week, really, because we started the day with Virgo, and it was, I don't know if you felt that moon hangover. I kind of felt it yesterday and then today as well. The full moon hangover from Saturday. And Scorpio moon is going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And by Friday, no, I'm checking again because, yeah, there you go. It's going to be in Scorpio from Thursday all the way to Saturday. And then on Sunday, it shifts into Sagittarius. And so that Scorpio moon will also help us kind of release what is getting in the way. The moon is officially waning. So this is the week to target where that shadow work is happening in your life. Shadow work as in what is negative in your life that needs your attention. It needs for you to work your way through it. That's shadow work. You're going to hear the term being explained a million different ways. You might hear the term as, a journal prompting or whatever. And I've talked about how I address shadow work in my coaching and in this particular book. And so at the end of the day, whatever is rubbing you the wrong way, or whoever is rubbing you the wrong way in your life, is an opportunity for you to look at that as the shadow and work your way through it by getting curious. What is it about this person? What is it about this place? What is it about this situation? What is it about this feeling? What is it about this person? So on and so forth. And it can be very intense. It can be intimidating. It can be scary. I absolutely do not recommend shadow work being done on your own. If you are struggling with depression, if you are currently in an episode or coming out of an episode, so on and so forth, not to do it alone. And by that, I don't mean seeking professional help. I just mean journaling and processing things that might be really triggering with company, with someone else. So that's just a fair warning that I like to give really anyone, especially during coaching sessions, because it's very important to me that there's harm to none. So the book obviously introduces each month with manifestations for the month that you can figure out. My goal for the month is going to be, what do you think that will be? I'm excited for March, always for the spring equinox. It's going to be happening on the 20th. How will that goal make you feel? I like to bring up feelings because that's the moon. The moon is our emotional well-being, our emotional landscape. And so the one thing that I can think of in my strategy about the end result is not so much the end result of something I'm trying to achieve, create, or do, but how do I want to feel once I get to that day? And focusing on the feeling, which usually for me, I like to narrow it down to gratitude. And that allows me to shift perspective from the frustration of things not working out to the gratitude in things not working out, and then trusting that they didn't work out for my own good and for a reason that I'm clearly going to now seek out and figure out. And then I'm grateful for whatever lesson comes from figuring that out. I hope that made sense. And so reaching my goal will make me feel, and if I don't reach it, how will I feel then? And I'm already grateful for that. Also kind of, I love that prompting of thinking by the end of the month, I'm already going to be grateful for this, this, and that. It's a great reminder when things start going askew during the month. What are you already grateful for this month? And we're going to have a moon in Pisces and a full moon in Libra. That should be interesting. And of course, eclipse season is also afoot. So we will be kind of tying loose ends and reviewing. Eclipses happen every 6 months and they're bookends one to the other. So with every end comes a beginning. Obviously, the next eclipse will correspond with previous eclipse, so on and so forth. And we're going to talk all about it as it unfolds. And The affirmation for this week is I find balance between my attention to detail. There's Virgo right there. And my empathetic understanding. I honor both my practical and my intuitive nature, which is really interesting because my bestie Angela and I were discussing this weekend that word practical and some thoughts on the things that we do often, the things that we want to do more of, the things that we want to incorporate, the things that we are trying to integrate, why we do what we do, what really is the bare minimum, what are the boundaries, and in the end, how do we feel about it? And of course, as a coach, because there's always kind of like a deadline, right? Every call takes just a specific a specific length of time, and so because there's that bookend, to me, there's always a bottom line, and the bottom line about practicality and just the things that we do daily is that I have a lot going on. And so, in giving myself grace, I have to also give up a few things. And I love how Chani Nicholas brought this up in her Astrology of the Week podcast, where she says that you want to do this one thing, but what is the one thing that is the cost? What is the cost that you're paying? What is the one thing that you have to give up in order to bring your attention to this? And I am in a season in my life where most of the things that I have to give up to do what I want to do are way too precious. And so want to do can absolutely wait, right? And it can just be done a different way because this one thing, the original thing that had my attention is really where my attention should be. So it's like the balance and the struggle between what I want to do and what I should be doing. And so there's the moon and Venus and even Mercury in what you want to do. And then, of course, Saturn and Virgo, prompting you to focus on what you should be doing, especially if what you should be doing is in order to bring other things along. This is a great opportunity to kind of remind ourselves that we're coming up with all of these ideas and we're currently coming up with all of these things that we feel like we should be or want to or will be working through or toward. But at the same time, in the physical, there's things being manifested that we strategized and journaled and manifested months ago, weeks ago, days ago, and now they're being pulled into earth. So I've said so much, I've said a lot. Let's leave it at that. I love these short in between episodes where we get to review. And speaking of review, let me bring up the questions for the full moon. So if you have not done your journaling, then now you have another opportunity to do so. How do you typically express your feelings? And if the question is, I don't express my feelings, then please, by all means, write that down. How can you do so while exercising care and understanding that the emotions are not yet entirely rational? Um, the moon always illuminates a lot. The moon always stirs up feelings. And so it is important for me that we all hold space for what the moon brings up with curiosity, compassion, and understanding. Reflect on how you currently balance your daily routines with your spiritual well being. That's like a spiritual housekeeping type of question. Are there any adjustments that you need to make to find greater harmony in this regard? This is exactly what I was talking about with my bestie. I find balance between my practical daily routines and my spiritual well being. I am open to the guidance of my intuition, Pisces, As I navigate this equilibrium, I understand that my feelings may not be entirely rational yet. I embrace this release as a step towards emotional clarity and self discovery. And all of that is the theme of this week as well. So I'm so excited for that. And so excited for us to now move into March by Friday. So the book has a little famous quote there every month, and I quote it myself from last year's book. Find motivation in the moon's constancy, knowing that every setback is a stepping stone to success. March is going to be lit by Aries, obviously. So that's it, everybody. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and do a short meditation. Music for this meditation is brought to you by Brain FM. You can find a free trial in the bio. We're not going to sleep. We're going to meditate. I've been using this app since 2021, and I do not regret it. Here's the chimes and bowls of our meditation. Sit back and relax. If you're able, lay down. Focus on your breathing. With me, take a deep breath in through your nose. Deep breath in, hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathe out through your mouth. Long breath out. Hold it at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathe in again. Through your nose, deep breath in. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale nice and slow. And as you exhale and relax into this moment, picture a bright moon in the sky. And yourself in whatever the most comfortable, genuine, soul-filling state you can think of. And in this moment, breathe and feel in your body the peace and stillness that come from surrendering and weighing yourself down in this blessed, comfortable, loving space. And as you relax and breathe slowly, remember how loved you are. You are cared for. You are supported. You are guided. You are held. With me, take a deep breath in through your nose. Deep, long breath through your nose. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale through your mouth. Long extended breath out all the way. Hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathe in again one last time. All the way. Fill your lungs. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale one last time through your mouth. Long, soft, slow exhale. And as you relax into this exhale, bring your attention to this moment. Wiggle your toes. Open your eyes. And come back to me. I am so grateful for you, subscribers and viewers. I am grateful for if you bought the book, absolutely. Thank you for following at someofmyself.ig on Instagram, at somecoaching on X, and at somecoaching.tt on TikTok. And that concludes our week. So in the end, my hope is that we finally make sense of something this week that will then allow us to go into March with a bit more sense of actionable steps. Tomorrow is Mars Day, and Mars will be square Jupiter. So let me just quickly brush on that, because Jupiter is the planet that wants us to grow and expand, but a square is an oppositional transit. And so that just tells me that I might struggle tomorrow. I'll speak for myself, but I'll compare notes later, right, with you, Adam, and everyone else. How that just makes me feel like I'm already anticipating that I'm going to be putting myself down for not doing enough, because Jupiter wants me to expand, but Mars, the planet of action, it won't really care about that tomorrow when it's opposition, right? When it's doing a square. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I will see you all next week. And of course, I'll see you every day in social media for our daily astrology moon calls. Thank you all so much. And I'll see you there. Bye.